Guys, we are back for another Dokkan battle video. Today we are going to continue the no item red zone sweeping challenge. Today we're going to use LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and his team. Now, I think this is where this challenge starts to get very tough, right? We've done most of the, the newer teams, right, from the Worldwide Down Celebration, the really good teams. Now we're moving on to teams that are more so subpar. Now, a lot of them are going to be subpar. I don't really think it's usually the leader's fault, as in the team just doesn't have enough options for whichever stage we're fighting. Many of these fights, basically from now on, that's not like one of the... So, like, with AGL Cell's team, STR Goku and Gohan, LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, even like Raditz' team, Majin Vegeta's team, it's for various reasons. We just need a lot of luck, right? We're not stronger than these stages a lot of times. Now, LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, his team is really just pretty ass. Like looking at it, it's like people, I feel like in their head might think like, oh, like, like Fusion Warriors, dude, they get units every 5 seconds. They're so good. Not quite, right? Like, a lot of these characters just do not cut it. A perfect example is a character like LR Tech Gogeta, right? Who is still a fairly recent Dokkan Fest LR, but I mean, I just am not comfortable running him unless we're going to be against a boss, an AGL boss, right? Which there is one of those, the Metal Cooler fight that we do have to be careful about. Now, here we're fighting Full Power Frieza. Full Power Frieza can be pretty tough, can be not so bad, right? There's a number of factors that go into this, right? So this is a fight where I am using LR Tech Gogeta as well, right? But it's like, a lot of times using Tech Gogeta, this also happens, where it's like, you get to turn 4, and it's like, well, we're not really near 70%, so that's not really too good. Typically, if I'm going to use him in this fight against Frieza, though, it's because Full Power Frieza just hits so hard on his super attack. Like, being able to see where it's coming can really, really help so very much, right? This phase right here can really be a little cocksucker, by the way. I mean, as we can see, we have 8,000 HP. Certainly not a great number, I would say. But, you could take a lot of damage from this Frieza hitting you with these AoEs, and then can just put us in a pretty tough spot. LR Vegito Blue can be good, but you really do need a lot of RNG with him. Typically, I've found that it actually is kind of tough a lot of times to actually utilize like his stacking mechanic now. It's so easy for him to hit 18 key super attacks that that's what you're going to do, and it's just like you're just hoping for the good RNG of him getting additional supers to stack up, right? But LR Vegito Blue can definitely be handy in here. But again, you go through the Fusion roster, and it just doesn't really have the options. And LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, he's great, right? Like, I don't have a problem with this character. But, like, these Saiyan Roar GT units are just really not that good. Like, none of them are. It's only, again, using them in type advantage, right? So, like, LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku, I don't even think I use in any of these fights. Because it's just, like, no STR phase at the end. Nah, I'm good. LR Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, I'm able to use a couple of times, right? Including the fight against the Metal Cooler Core. But a lot of these fights are just very difficult, very hard. We need a lot of good luck, a lot of good RNG, right? We just need the super attack to be aimed at the right spot, so Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta can counter, or the LR Gods can dodge it, or some shit like that, or STR Piccolo can block it, right? We just need a lot of stuff like that. This isn't the team where I just go in, like, most of these fights, besides, like, Mecha, Frieza, and King Cold, took, 6, 7 tries each, a lot of them, right? Like, these were not, like, oh, we're just gonna go in here and we're just gonna shit stomp these fights. It's not how it went down, right? Like, a lot of these were fairly tough, including this Frieza fight, right? Which, depending upon we get a good rotation, right, we could potentially nullify Frieza's, super attacks, towards the end, right? Having the Scouter and then having 3 characters that have the sort of attack break. There's several different things we potentially could do to get our W here. LR Fusion Zamasu, even without big bad bosses and a perfect setup for him, his kit is very tight, very strong, so he really can help out even in a lot of tough fights like this. So here was the Frieza fight. Again, very difficult. but we're able to sort of make it through, right? LR Tech OG with the Scouter, sort of helping us out, and then just good RNG where Frieza is attacking from that point on. All right. Now we're going on to the final. This was a nightmare. This was a disaster. This final form cooler fight with this team is tough as hell. Because remember, his type coverage is strong. You want to run tech characters to block this cooler. This is the hardest hitting like red zone turn 1 boss in the game, right? But you can't bring a bunch of tech characters because then they'll just get obliterated by int final form cooler. Now, the good news is that LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, if we get a god turn from him, he can take out, 70% of Final Form Cooler's health, probably in one turn, right? Like, just a ridiculous display. But we have to bring characters that are not exactly what I would consider, like, great, super top tier. Like, Weirus is solid, right? But it's like, he better dodge. Kefla is okay-ish, but she's, like, gotta dodge, right? Like, this is the thing about a lot of these fights. I feel like we get into these fights, and it's like, like we only win because on this rotation, nearly every single attack cooler does is at the first slot. If he spread out his attacks evenly, we probably die in this turn. Kefla needs to build up, right? Like, she can't handle this. Kefla cannot tank Final Form Cooler. I don't think... Like, by the time we get to Final Form Cooler, even she's got type advantage, she's still not double-digit tanking, right? So it's like, we just need a lot of good luck, a lot of RNG. Good thing with Kefla, and Weirus, actually, is that they can generate physical key spheres for us to potentially heal up a little bit. We got our dodges with them, which is super important. Again, the Fusion roster is just not really too good. And, you know, characters like the 3rd year anniversary LRs, Kefla, stuff like that. Like, these characters, you know, with some good luck, they could be okay, but oftentimes it's, again, very, very difficult to make it through these fights. These, especially here in the Wicked Bloodline Red Zone, the bosses just hit so hard, so fast, you don't have time for setup. So many of these runs, it's just instant death, right? If your rotations are not, like, tight immediately, a lot of times you just don't have any chance, right? Especially with one of these subpar teams, right? You come in here with, you know, LR Final Form Cooler's team or something like that, like, you're good, right? Like, it's not that big of a deal. But, like, when you're coming in here and you got to use characters like Super Saiyan 2 Kefla and Weirus, who are decent but not great characters, we can be exposed in a hurry, right? Another thing, actually, that's a huge factor in a lot of these teams with wins. I've encountered this a lot with, like, Raditz's team, Majin Vegeta's team, Orb RNG. It literally is the difference a lot of times. Characters like Majin Vegeta need 6 orbs for damage reduction. You know, Dokkan Fest's physical Kid Goku needs the 7 orbs to get the damage reduction for the rotation. You know, the anniversary LRs who, you know, look at when they get a bunch of rainbow orbs and, like, the shit they do, right? Like, it's just a lot of these rotations is just, do we get good orb RNG? Yes or no, right? That's it. Do we win? Oh, that's because we got God RNG with the orbs. Did we lose? Well, Majin Vegeta didn't get his 6 orbs. Kid Goku wasn't able to get the damage reduction support for Raditz, right? Shit like that happens a lot in a lot of these runs. Alright, now we go on to the free pass fight, Mecha Frieza and King Cold. Again, this is just pretty much a free pass fight. Not really anything too tough, too tricky, nothing like that in here. Remember that these Frieza soldiers basically can't even really do damage. Only the AGL Frieza soldier at the front can even super attack. The other two can't even super attack, right? So they're just pussies. Mecha Frieza and King Cold are pretty weak. Not exactly what I would consider tough bosses at all. They seem to go down pretty easy. Like, they feel pretty free, right, most of the times. I guess they could potentially do a lot of damage to us if we get really bad luck. Remember that King Cold does seal 1 or 2 characters per turn. In particular, like, this kind of, like, fusion team, sealing can hurt us quite badly, right? LR Vegito Blue, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, the LR Gods, like, a lot of these characters are getting huge amounts of defense when they super attack. So if they're going to get sealed, that's going to be a huge problem to have to deal with. There's another fight where we're able to dust out LR Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta as well. A unit that can be pretty good, but again, utilizing him, I want to make sure that he's got type advantage against one of these types of bosses, right? In here, I like to run a lot of STR units in this fight, Mecha Frieza and King Cold, because the point here is you want to blitz King Cold, because as soon as you kill him, there's no more sealing, and then, again, Frieza's, like, not really scary if it's just him. So, like, we can handle just Frieza. That's not going to be an issue. So, there we go. There's the Mecha Frieza and Full Power Frieza fights, or the Mecha Frieza and King Cold fight. It certainly can be tough, I guess, if RNG is really bad on your side. I think in a lot of these runs, yeah, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta did sell for me quite often. Actually, he eats a lot of super attacks in a lot of these fights, and a lot of the fights where I lost. But, remember, LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta does have the 50% chance to counter enemy super attacks, which can be very good. Here's again where LR Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta can be handy as well. remember that the LR Super Saiyan 4s, they actually can attack break, right? If there's multiple enemies. This is the only red zone fight where there is multiple enemies, where the LR Super Saiyan 4s can take advantage. Oh, did we get the bug, the glitch, the thing where occasionally the enemy will do nothing, right? Because we aimed it at King Cold. King Cold, that first attack he did should have been canceled. But that was the bug where King Cold, his first action on the turn was hidden. Like, he actually did do an attack, but it was him doing nothing, which wasn't shown, which we broke. Dokkan did address that, and supposedly they're fixing that soon, so we will see. But here was Mecha, Frieza, and King Cold. Really not too bad. Moving on to the Metal Cooler fight. So Metal Cooler, of course, is a ridiculously tough boss. Now, I have had a lot of issues with this fight with many teams. Oh, thank God that Piccolo dodged. Remember, when, like, okay, so, like, in a fight like this, the Cyclopean Guard lowers your stats. Piccolo dodging means he doesn't get debuffed. Right, that's another advantage dodge can give you, is some of these bosses who debuff you, you could just sidestep that bullshit completely, right, with a dodge, which we did right there. So Piccolo does not get debuffed, which is very, very handy. So this fight, of course, can be pretty tough right here. A lot of the issues I've had with this fight with other teams is sometimes it can be a bit of a struggle to keep up with Metal Cooler's healing. Actually, and then it's just a matter of time until he catches you. It's just a huge pain in the ass. With this team, though, typically if you've got, like, the 7th anniversary LRs or, you know, well, I guess Final Form Cooler, but you could get bad luck. He'd get locked down by Metal Cooler if you're not getting crits, right? But what you could do is the 7th anniversary LRs usually can tear, like, they're doing more than 7 million damage, right, per turn, pretty easily a lot of the times. So the 7th anniversary LRs, like, they can sort of keep up with Metal Cooler's healing. I'm telling y'all, like, with some of these teams, like the Ginyu Force team, it was a real struggle to get through this Metal Cooler fight. There's Kale and Khalifa. Kale and Khalifa are a very good unit for a lot of these fights, but, you know, luck. You need some RNG. And, you know, opening turn, they're not good, right? They build up. They have to build up, Kale and Khalifa. You have to give them a chance to sort of spread their wings before they can be really effective. And, you know, we do sort of get there as time goes on. This Metal Cooler fight, though, again, with this team, we're able to blitz him. Now, one important thing we want to keep in mind, Pan. Right now, Pan and LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, I think, are really the only two, like, mega top tier, like the toppest tier characters on GT Heroes. The Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta do activate Pan's unit super, her active skill, all that bullshit gets activated by LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta. However, thank God Gogeta countered her, we were dead right there. However, once you fuse into Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, it does not activate Pan's stuff anymore. So we have to do it, you know, we have to use Pan's active skill before we fuse into Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, right? That's a huge thing, which we are able to do. And remember, Pan can be one of the biggest, like, burst damage characters in the game. I've mentioned several times, Pan resembles, like, Blue Kaioken Goku in a lot of ways. You can just see, like, we get these rotations. Look at the amount of damage we're able to do in the Metal Cooler. Like, we just explode him. Yeah, dude, this fight, crazy, man, how fast this fight can go once we bust out all these active skills, right? So we do all this, and then Metal Cooler just gets turned into dust. Alright, guys, now we're moving on to the Metal Cooler Core fight. This was hell. This is hell. LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta's team, like, it's just, like, not good enough. For this fight, it's just so crazy. So, number one, the Metal Cooler Army they are such a problem. They are such an issue with their double supers and then lowering your defense. It's like, I often, like, with a lot of teams now, I'm just getting blown away by the Metal Cooler Army right here. Them double supering and then potentially lowering your defense, it's just crazy. And then the Metal Cooler Core, man, he hits so freaking hard. It's just, it's just very difficult. If you guys notice, I actually brought STR Vegito. Now, you might be thinking, like, oh, you're using STR Vegito, like, for the Scouter, or maybe he's STR, you're going up against this physical boss, maybe you can do some stuff. My plan here was, I need STR Vegito, because I can't really make it through the Metal Cooler Army without taking insane amounts of damage. Like, I can't, alright? Like, I'm gonna get torn up by the Metal Cooler Army. By the time I reach the Metal Cooler Core, we're nearly dead. So, basically, my strategy here is, survive the Metal Cooler Army, just get lucky. Then fuse with Vegito to heal us up, and then continue to get lucky through the rest of the fight with where he places his attacks, right? I need STR Vegito to not get hit, pretty much ever. I need many characters to not have attacks aimed near them, or else we're dead. I need the Metal Cooler Core to not seal characters. The amount of runs I've lost to this piece of shit sealing is just so devastating, right? Characters like Raditz, LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, you know, EZA, STR Namek Goku, LR Vegito Blue, right? Like, all these characters, like, you just get a seal, and then Metal Cooler Core is spreading his attacks out, like, you've lost. It's just, like, it can be so frustrating, right? You get 7 turns deep, he's got 3 health bars left, and then, oh, sealed Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, that's an L, right? Like, yeah, too tough. You've lost, nothing you can do. Gets very tough. Very tough to deal with when the boy is just putting the seal on. Because, again, all these characters, like, they can't tank this Metal Cooler Core if they're not, whatchamacallit. They can't tank it, like, these even normals if they're not super attacking first. So we make it through the 3 turns of bullshit, and then we get to happy fun time, this guy. Again, you basically just want to blitz him with damage as fast as possible. I suppose the one thing that is good is this boss essentially only has 1 health bar, right? Just this right here. Because the Metal Cooler Army, you can't, like, tear through him. So we could, theoretically, right, get, like, you know, both Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and the gods right here to, like, triple crit. We did their active skills. And, like, they could take off most of this guy's health very fast. I think in order to get a win here, too, I was feeling like I needed, like, the gods, you know, they can dodge, right? Just outright dodge with the rainbow orbs. They've got a good chance to dodge. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, potentially to just counter the super attack. Or my STR Piccolo with all of his dodge. Because even these big defensive units in here, I mean, eating the super attack from this guy is just not super realistic consistently, right? You could take, like, 1 from this guy. And that's pretty much it. This Metal Cooler Core, he just hits so goddamn hard. I can't accurately describe how hard this dude hits. It just feels like 99% of the roster is completely hopeless in this fight, right? So here we go. We got the STR Vegito fusion. Yeah, there we go. But we're able to make it through. LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is good. I don't have problems with him, right? Like, but like, we are in desperate need of help for GT Heroes. That might seem insane, but dude, it's true. GT Heroes needs a lot of love. LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, I think, is aging fine. But we just need a character that can activate his power through his links, right? Which right now doesn't exist in a very comfortable way, right? So, let me know what you guys think of sweeping the Wicked Bloodline Red Zone with LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta's team. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll catch y'all next time.